What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 2, and we start today's episode off by finding out that our three scouts have returned from their first month's worth of scouting young talent in Scotland, Ireland and also England as well. But just before we move on, I do want to say real briefly, as this is Saturday morning, oh my god, I haven't done this in such a long time, as this Saturday morning, if you guys would like a double episode upload day of Career Mode to another episode of Career Mode coming out later today, then get this video to 1,000 likes and I'll pop another episode up later on today after the football. So 1,000 likes and you'll get another episode of Career Mode out today. And it's been such a long time since I've done a double episode upload day of Career Mode, man. Oh, I'm back, baby, and I'm loving it. But yeah, as you can see, the scouts picked up 3 players for us, 1 from each nation, so very nicely balanced there from their first month's worth of scouting. An Irish playmaker called Donald Brennan, 16 years old, already 6'3", 60 rated, 80s 94 potential, and he and Aidan White, this young English central midfielder who's 15 years old, they've got almost identical stats. Well, maybe not identical, but very, very similar stats indeed. Both specialise in free kicks and also curve as well, which I find quite interesting. And the third youth player picked up was Lucas McKinley. That's a 15-year-old Scottish goalkeeper, already 6'4". Terrible positioning at 48, but otherwise could be very good in the future. And good to get 3 players in our youth squad straight away from the first month's worth of scouting. But the first game of today's episode here, we will take on Crystal Palace at Bramall Lane, coming on the back of our 2-0 loss away on the South Coast against Bournemouth at the Vitality on the Premier League opening day. This our first game in front of the home crowd, back in the top flight against Roy Hodgson's side. My word, we were fired up for this one, and I was really hoping we could pick up our first Premier League points here in front of the home fans as well. No change to our lineup, still with the same 5-3-2 and the same 11 players on the pitch, and the first chance fell inside the first 6 minutes. Lovely build-up play release. George Bordock, whose cross fell to Stevens at the far post, and oh man, what a chance to get our first Premier League goal in 6 minutes. Baldock's cross to Stevens, the wing-backs linking up, but I suppose you could say it fell to the wrong man. Stevens' shot, not the best, saved by the goalkeeper. Palace escape, and then Henderson made a good save on Maximilian Meyer to keep the score at 0-0 in a pretty entertaining first half. There was, some scrappy moments here and there, but I thought both teams had played quite well in the first half. See, John Lundstrom almost scored our first goal with a screamer there, his strike hitting the post just before half-time, and you saw the stats at half-time. Neither side done especially well at keeping hold of the ball. It wasn't really the best of games out there for good passing football, so it wasn't a real surprise that when the first goal was scored just past the hour mark, it was a very scrappy one and a really poor one to concede. Crystal Palace won themselves a corner. It was whipped into the centre, and Wilfried Zaha, who came off the bench literally seconds before this goal for the Belgian striker Christian Benteke, with the overhead kick, put it past Henderson at the near post. Question marks over Dean there, possibly could have stopped it as it was at his near post, but it was very close proximity there. Zaha right on the 6-yard line, puts it in, and Zaha on the bench for this game, coming off the subs bench to put Crystal Palace in front as they had the lead. So 1-0 down, no clean sheet in game 2 either. 18 minutes to go, Ravel Morrison off the bench, cut inside, denied by the goalkeeper as it was still 1-0. We were pushing, we were pressing, we were looking for an equalising goal that we felt we deserved, but really this game changed when Wilfried Zaha came onto the pitch. 12.5 minutes to go. Zaha with a nice little teasing bit of dribbling, rolls the ball through, and Jeffrey Schlupp puts it past Henderson, and once again goal goes in the near post as Palace go 2 goals up, and that was how the game finished. 15 minutes apart the goals were. Wilfried Zaha had a part in both of those goals there, first with the goal and then setting up the second one. I thought we were harshly done by, really, a 2-0 loss. Felt we'd at least deserved a goal from that game. Just something positive, but really Crystal Palace, they were ruthless in front of goal. All their shots fell on target, and I guess we just didn't take our chances. Simple as that. So 2 games in, 2 defeats, both by the same scoreline, 2-0. Heading to our 3rd game of the season, still at home here at Bramall Lane, taking on Leicester City, the 2015-2016 Premier League champions. Brendan Rodgers' side coming to take us on. Didn't change the tactics, kept it at the 5-3-2, made 3 changes to our lineup. Stevens came out for Osborne at left wing back. Phil Jagielka came in for some veteran presence as part of our back 3. And I thought Ravel Morrison did well off the bench in the last game against Palace, deserved a start as well, as he made 3 changes to our starting lineup. But right from the get-go in this game, Leicester imposed themselves on it, and they sensed blood. You know, 2 games in, no goals, already 4 conceded, no points picked up. They sensed they'd get a couple of early goals in this game and already put daylight between the sides. First shot was well saved by Henderson, but just past the half an hour mark, they had their breakthrough, and it was a deserved one as well. Harvey Barnes sent through the through ball, and once again a shot squeezed it in at the near post. And that's one thing I'm noticing about this year's FIFA. Shots towards the near post do seem to be quite OP, and do tend to have a higher success rate as opposed to any other shot as well. But 1-0 to Leicester, they were in front, and right before the break, I mean, we were just getting absolutely carved open by the Foxes. Their pass accuracy was so good. They were passing the ball forward, looking to attack with intent, and they went 2 goals up right before half-time. I think it was James Maddison's shot, well saved by Henderson, but he could only push it out into the path by Jose Perez, and the former Newcastle United man doubles the score for Leicester City. And in 13 minutes, we conceded 2 goals. Like against Crystal Palace, you know, those goals come in within 13 and 15 minutes of each other. Safe to say we haven't really responded after going a goal down. So 2-0, Leicester City double their lead. And to be honest, this game belongs to the visitors, man. Right from the first whistle, they wanted it more. They had more quality, and it was pretty evident. 5 minutes to go, still leading by 2. Jamie Vardy hits the post with an incredible diving header, as he should have made it 3, really. This game could have been 3, 4, 5-0 to Leicester. They were a much better team. The only real chance we had fell in stoppage times with the club captain Billy Sharp off the bench sent forward, but Kasper Schmeichel the Dane denies him and turns behind for a corner, and that was how the game finished. You can see Dean Henderson there was out of breath come to final whistle. I'm not surprised. Leicester peppered his goal with shots all game long. Their pass accuracy is very high. A very difficult game, and for the 3rd consecutive match, 3 defeats by the same scoreline, 2-0. No goals scored, 6 goals conceded, no points picked up from a possible 9. And our 3rd and final game today, and our 4th game of the season so far, Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge, taking on Frank Lampard's side. Doesn't get any easier, does it? So travelling away to West London for the game. There was no Mason Mount, there was no Tomori in the Chelsea side. I found very interesting, but still a star-studded lineup from the Blues heading to the game. Whereas we reverted back to our normal first 11 that you saw in the first 2 games of the season, but stuck with the 5-3-2. The 5-3-2 and the 3-5-2, that's how Sheffield United play, and that's what we'll be playing in the first season as well. Whilst we've not started too well with this system, it is the tactics I will continue to deploy. But taking on Chelsea away from home, obviously right from the first whistle, they were going to be sensing blood in an early goal against a newly promoted side at home, and it took just 16 minutes for them to take the lead. Pedro, the Spaniard, headbutting the corner flag as Chelsea went in front. Once again, another really scrappy goal, failing to deal with the cross across the ground. Eventually Pedro turns it in, and Chelsea went in front. So 1-0 down already. Terrible start, and we were looking like we were going to have 4 defeats on the trot. We tried to respond though, and we did well in the first half too. Unlike against Leicester, where we didn't really attack until the final few moments, we were attacking at will in the first half and really going for it too. First kept making a good save on Robinson, but then just before the break, when things couldn't get any worse for Sheffield United, they somehow do. Oliver Norwood, our our game captain, not our club captain, going for goal from just inside the area. Christensen gets his body across. It's a fair challenge, but it is a hard one. Norwood hits the deck, stays down, and is forced off on the stretcher. So a goal down away at Stamford Bridge, on the brink of 4 straight defeats and no goals conceded, no goals scored even as well. And now Norwood going down and forced off the pitch. Everything going wrong for the Blades at the start of the season. But in the second half, after a good end to the first half, we kept attacking and we actually looked really good in going forward. George Baldock storming down the right, whipping across the far post, and Robinson looking like our most dangerous player on the pitch in this game, heading the ball onto the post as Chelsea escaped. But we continued to attack. We didn't sit back and look to counter like we did against Leicester. We kept on moving forward and attacking with purpose. And as McBurney played a 1-2 with Callum Robinson, he was looking like our best player, and he also gets our first goal in the Premier League as well. Sent through by McBurney, one-on-one with the Spaniard. Could he keep his composure? Well, I was sweating as I went through with Robinson there. It wasn't the best finish, there's no doubt about that. The Spaniard gets a touch, but can't keep it out, as he can only deflect it into the back of his own net. And Callum Robinson scores our first Premier League goal, and we deserved it as well. We were going at Chelsea. We weren't settling for damage limitation, playing damage limitation, or trying to hit him on the counter. No, we wanted the goals, we felt we could get them, and we got one. So Robinson scores our first goal with Chelsea. They weren't going to settle for a point against the newly promoted side at home. They were going for that winning goal to get back in front. Two good chances later on, first through Kante and then Tammy Abraham off the bench, but Frank Lampard was left frustrated because Callum Robinson's goal ensures that Sheffield United finally are off the mark. First point in the Premier League. Yes, it's only 1 point out of 12, but listen, I'll certainly take this result. Out of all the 4 opening fixtures, I did not think this was the game where we'll pick up our first point and get our first goal, but it is. Football's a funny old game. We get ourselves the 1-1 draw and claim ourselves a very credible point. Off the mark on the score sheet, off the mark in terms of points. We do end August in the relegation zone from our first 4 games. No wins so far, just a 1 point picked up and 7 goals conceded to. It's been a tough start, but there are positives to build on, and hopefully we'll get our first Premier League win not before long. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy today's episode, please drop a like. Don't forget 1,000 likes and I'll upload another episode for you guys later on today, and hopefully I'll see you for it later on today.